Have you ever wondered how we can solve the fostering crisis here in the state of Arkansas? Dr. Phil Goad with Every Child Arkansas is here tonight to explain how we can together change fostering in Arkansas. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm your host, Perry Black, and on this show, we have a very special guest that's going to tell us how we can impact the world and every child in Arkansas, right. One heart, one life, one prayer at a time. Dr. Phil Goad. Doc, welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm excited about having you back because you have become very instrumental, and I'd even say influential, using your influence to make a difference in this whole fostering crisis that's not only in Arkansas but around the nation. Mm-hmm. Are you the founder of Every Child Arkansas?
I'm one of the ones that came together and said, let's work together. I'm the chair of the Executive Leadership Council. We have a leadership group that tries to meet and help in this, and so I'm just a convener that wanted to help bring people together to work together.
Yeah, you got a network.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I recall, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you were at an event in another state, met some people that were networking in their state. Is that right? Is that kind of the concept that you brought back here on some event?
Well, kind of going back a little bit farther into this, I started getting involved, my wife and I did, in this whole area of, started with adoption when a young couple at our church adopted 2 children from Ethiopia back in 2010. It goes back that far. And they one day went up and were trying to raise some funds to build a little building for kids in Ethiopia. And so my wife and I didn't know much about that work, but we said, well, let's do that. And we helped them. And then the next thing we know, about 60 days later, we're on an airplane to Ethiopia going, what has just happened here? Yeah. And we got involved with an organization called Lifesong for Orphans, and I was on their board, and just helping that work. It's around the world, do that, and then got involved with the Christian Alliance for Orphans, or CAFO, that actually started in Arkansas 20 years ago. Just had the 20th anniversary. Dennis Rainey at Family Life helped start Christian Alliance for Orphans, and I'm on their board, and so started getting engaged with that work and more involved. Along the way, I became a CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocate, that works on behalf of children. And so I just started growing in an interest and a passion for saying, let's do something together. And it was really through my work at CAFO with the group there that started a movement called More Than Enough. And More Than Enough for children and families before, during, and beyond foster care in every county in the United States is their goal. Yeah.
Now, you're a doctor, toxicology.
Yes.
Does that mean you're a medical doctor?
I have a PhD in toxicology we got from the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences.
Did you serve on staff there for a period of time?
No. I just went to school there, went to Harding University, got my bachelor's degree, and then went to UAMS and got my PhD there.
Yeah. And in that field, what was your expertise? You were involved in some of these train wrecks and that kind of stuff, or?
It started off, my expertise was in birth defects and how chemicals and drugs could cause birth defects. And so that's why I started off. I did my dissertation work on fetal alcohol syndrome, and then worked for a company that developed drugs, and they have to be tested in animals before they go to humans. And so I would do the studies that would look to see, could this drug cause a birth defect or a problem in that, and began to go farther, in that field. And then moved back to Arkansas in 1989 and started to get involved in the world of consulting toxicology, where we were getting involved in a number of things. And one day in 1989, got a call from an attorney in Arkansas that had been a train derailment and said, can you go measure the air? So we didn't really know what we were doing, but said, yeah, we can go do that. And that started what was the rest of our career in emergency response, chemical release emergencies, and then natural disasters, other kinds of things, responding to things that go wrong, and helping people and organizations.
How do you, as a man of faith, and a person from that medical background and toxicology and all that. Is there any conflict there? Because a lot of people say, well, if you know you were really intelligent, you wouldn't believe in a creator. Is that, what do you think about that statement?
I think quite the opposite. To me, all science has ever done is just figured out what God has done.
Yeah.
And we have some pretty sophisticated science, and we keep learning more and more, but in my mind, it's only just figuring out the magnificent intricacies of God's creation. That's all science ever does, is figure out what God has already done.
Really, science is just studying stuff we know and pursuing to know stuff we don't know. Is that too
That's
simple?
not a bad way to say it. No, but it's all related to what God has done. We're just figuring out His stuff and using the things He made, the processes He made, sometimes for good, sometimes not for good. But that's all science, in my view, ever has been.
And faith is an essential element of the human experience, isn't it?
It certainly is for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not everybody, but it is for us.
Yeah.
You know, we share a worldview where God's sovereign and He's in charge.
Yeah. So tell me, we've got a couple of minutes. How did this concept of Every Child Arkansas come about, and how long has that been intact in our state?
Sure. When I finished my work, we had sold our company in April of 2020, and I stepped out completely with the new organization in January 21, and then began working with the Christian Alliance for Orphans group, the More Than Enough group, looking at the national process of how can we get enough foster families and support foster families, doing the kind of things that you guys do at Second Chance Ranch. How could we do that in every county in the United States? But as in the middle of starting to look at that, I thought, well, Arkansas has got some of the best organizations and the best processes anywhere in the country, and our state is known around the country for doing good things for kids. But we weren't there for More Than Enough either, so my heart began to turn, let's do it here. Let's do it in our state. While we're thinking about the national effort, let's do it right here in Arkansas. So began turning towards engaging with all the folks that are doing this work here and say, let's work together. We can do more. We're better together.
You know, when I started Second Chance Youth Ranch, we bought the land in 1999, I think it was, and I lived at the Methodist home, so I was familiar with what the Methodist Church had been doing and how it impacted my life. But I didn't really, and I knew there was a sheriff's ranch, and I knew there was a Baptist home, but I didn't know the magnitude of the homes throughout the state. But there's approximately how many now in Every Child Arkansas in their network?
Foster homes? There's just under 1,400 foster homes right now in the state, and it's way fewer than we need, frankly.
Yeah.
We've had a great drop in the number of kids in foster care over the last 2 years. It's dropped substantially, but we need more homes because there's not enough families taking care of these kids.
And that's why you're watching this show. We'll be right back with Dr. Goad.
Hi there. I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about Arkansas Christian Academy. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Our name is Arkansas Christian Academy, but most of us just say ACA around here. Our mascot is this guy. Go Knights! Founded in 2001, ACA has grown from only a few classes to having classes in pre-K all the way through 12th grade. As far as class sizes go, we were smaller on average across the board, and we use this to challenge our students academically and individually on a personal level, learning through the lens of God's Word in every subject and growing a personal relationship with Him through our amazing staff and in our daily chapel classes. For a full breakdown, check out our website at archristian.org, and feel free to explore other aspects of our school while you're there. Now, let's go outside. Our still growing campus sits right off I-30 and is protected by gates and doors with magnetic locks, only accessible by faculty and staff. We also have these guys here every day. But seriously though, safety is a priority here at ACA, as we want to ensure not only a quality education, but an environment where learning can flourish without fear or other outside distractions. Now, let's move on to the fun stuff. Here's a shot of our football field, a playground, some kids, another playground, our main gym, a football field again, and this is our brand new middle school. What else?
What about extracurricular activities?
That's right, here at ACA, we offer all different kinds of sports, but that's just the beginning. We have a broadcasting class, spoiler alert, it's really cool, a music and worship program, theater, and a thriving art program complete with a very active yearbook committee.
Wow.
There you have it. Schedule a tour today and find out what all the buzz is about at Arkansas Christian Academy.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Dr. Phil Goad is with us. He is one of the executive officers, I guess you might say, at Every Child Arkansas. So tell our viewers, just kind of break it down. What is Every Child Arkansas? It's a network of agencies like Second Chance Youth Ranch that are working to resolve the crisis in our state with foster care. How did you get networked? How did you get everybody to network? And I was down at the Capitol, and you were with the governor introducing some of these things.
Well, we started before that. There's a lot of organizations like Second Chance Ranch who have been involved for quite a while and doing their part, doing our part to make a difference here. But we began to see, particularly in the work I was doing with CAFO and the bigger vision, that we've got to come together and work together to get this done. And so we started talking to the folks, you know, Rachel and Billy at Second Chance Ranch and others, saying, can we come together? Can we start working together and doing this together? And so we began that back in late summer of 21 and so forth. People started saying, let's do that. We launched back in the November of 21 when Misha Martin, who was then the director of DCFS, came and just laid out the challenges we're having in the state and the tremendous need for foster homes, for supporting DCFS workers in Pulaski County. In 2022, there was 104% turnover in that. And as a business owner, I know that you would go out of business if you had 100% of your people leave and turn over during the course of the year. And so we just began to realize and catch this vision that we could do better if we were together. And the governor started getting involved in what we did when she came on board. And actually, before she was elected, she held a summit for folks in the foster care arena. We went there to their headquarters, and she was inquiring as what are the needs of foster care in the state of Arkansas. This is back before she was even elected. So a lot of our folks came together, and we began to talk about the need to work together. So after she was elected in February of 23, she wrote an executive order for foster care and adoption in the state of Arkansas, which an executive order is basically the CEO of the state saying, you're going to do these things. And we had the opportunity to speak into that and help give ideas about what we thought should be in the order. So she wrote that order to bring the state departments together and our group together. And that was kind of the official launch date, February 28th of 2023.
Wow. So it's been just over a year, about a year and a half, that we've actually been connected.
Yes.
What is the ultimate goal of Every Child Arkansas?
The ultimate goal is for us to have more than enough foster families, support for foster families, more than enough homes for every waiting child, you know, to fill the gaps in our state. And you ask about what it is, you actually described it well. We're just a network of individuals, organizations, agencies that are working to fill the gaps for foster care and adoption in the state of Arkansas.
Approximately how many children in foster care? That data, I know it changes continually.
It's about just under 3,500 right now. Yeah. That's dropped substantially. 2 years ago when we first started talking, it was over 1,600. 1,610 actually was the number. I stick with numbers. 1,610 was at the start of the year, and that's dropped now substantially, which is a good thing. On the flip side is we have a net loss of foster homes. We're losing more homes than we're gaining because it's such hard work and such difficult work at people having.
I think it was Dr. Dobson wrote a book called Parenting is Not for Cowards. Well, neither is foster parenting.
That's correct.
One of the things I think that many organizations like Second Chance Youth Ranch are doing, we now have 80 children in foster care in our care 24/7. And one thing that we bring to the table is, number one, we take large sibling groups. We've got a recent sibling group of 12. We had a sibling group of 6, another of 8 or 10. And that's difficult, really difficult to place together. And the thing that we do provide for foster families, though, is a support network. Our case managers, our counselors, Billy and Rachel, and their daily staff, we support our foster families that connect with us. We don't just say, okay, we'll open your home, give you a child or 2 or 3, and then you're on your own. My mother was a foster mother, my mom and dad. One time we had a total of 19 children in our house. 5 of us were brother and sister, Paula, Paul, Perry, Pat, and Pam. The other 14, one was my sister's friend, Donna, who had been removed, kicked out of her home. The rest were all foster children, from infants to teenagers. And my mother didn't have that support network. My mother's best friend was the case worker, the welfare worker for Craighead County up in Jonesboro. But there wasn't a network of counselors and professionals and people to help you with your doctor's appointments or to help you as a foster parent to be encouraged. Hey, you're gonna make it, don't quit, give up. And we've been very fortunate. And of course, Billy and Rachel do a off-the-chart phenomenal job with their team networking with ours. And I think that's the key of maintaining those foster parents. You know, ministry's hard too. Hundreds of preachers leave the ministry literally every month because it's hard work. But fostering is such an essential part of the needs in this state. So what would you say to anyone that's watching, whether they're a doctor, a professional, a church member, community leader? What do they need to know? What can they learn, and how can they connect with Every Child Arkansas?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the reality is that everybody can do something. And not everybody's called to bring a child into their home. It can be really tough. It can disrupt your home. It's going to affect your marriage. It's going to affect your other children. And so people step into hard places when they do that, and not everybody's in a place where they can do that. But literally, there's not a single human being who can't do something to support a foster family. And I wholeheartedly agree with you that I place that as really as high as the importance of finding families as supporting them so that they can stay in the fight longer. We have a shortage of foster families in our state now, and one of the consequences is that if a child is not with relatives or what's called fictive kin, like a teacher or a Sunday school teacher or a coach or whatever, if they're not with that group, 75% have to go out of their county. So not only are they pulled out of their home with their mom and dad, they don't get to go to their school, they don't get to go to their church, their playground, their neighborhood, it's all gone.
All gone.
And it's all replaced with something they're very unfamiliar with. And that's why we need more families, actually waiting families in counties, so when the next child comes into care, they don't have to go across the state, literally, to be cared for.
Absolutely. We're going to take a brief break. We're going to watch a video from Project Zero on children in waiting. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
You know, love is unconditional. I mean, if something happens, that love is still going to be there. Because, love never really goes away.
I'm going to find you, and
it won't be that hard to find me. I'm right here.
I'm going to find you, and we're going to be best friends. Because you're my mom.
My name is Serena, and I am 15. I like to read. I draw. I'm a cat person, but I met this dog, and she was just like, she's amazing. I'm going into 10th grade. I don't know, it's just like stressful. I get a lot more responsibility. It's hard. My favorite subject would be art class. I guess my favorite type of art is like whatever they have. Like in like art class, like clay, like sculptures. I like to do all of it. Honestly, if I had $1 million, I would probably I would need to save some of it, of course. Like donate some either to the church, to the hospitals. And then, I would have to pay for things like groceries, stuff like that, things that I need. I want to be a nurse in the National Guard. So I'm probably going to go to college for that. And then I have to go to, I guess, a boot camp. So I'm still figuring everything out, but that's my plan so far. I've been in foster care since I was 8 years old. I just feel like it would be hard, living on my own. And I've always wanted a family. So it's Oh, it's hard. I guess I don't care what kind of family I get. I just want them to like love and respect me for who I am. I like to spend some of my free time doing like family activities, just like, I don't know, like hang out with the family, like family time. I mean, a good family would be like how I described it, just like a good family who like respects you and like has discipline, but like reasonable. God has a purpose for you. And He's taking you the path that He wants to take you, so it's all for a reason.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I always say, coming back from this segment, that Project Zero, their videos, they touch your heart because we're not talking statistics. We're not talking about the capita. We actually have children saying, will somebody please be my mom and dad?
Yes.
And that's what Every Child Arkansas is about, all the organizations that are involved, and that's what Second Chance Youth Ranch is all about. Our number one goal is reuniting those children with their birth family.
Right.
If that doesn't happen, our goal is to get them a forever family, an adoptive family. And if that doesn't happen, Second Chance Youth Ranch, they'll always be part of our family.
Right.
I just saw a post from Rachel, our daily operations director, that I know you're familiar with. A young lady, one day I'm driving through Bryant, school just let out, and I'm crossing I-30 on the overpass, and one of our young ladies from the ranch, she's mad and she's walking across. She got out of the van at the red light and she's basically going to do her thing. And I remember calling my clinical director, and I said, Matthew, now it's Chad, but back then it was Matthew. And I said, Matthew, I see this young lady out here. I called her by name. He said, oh yeah, she's jumped out of the van. We've called the police. She just texted Rachel, and I just read this morning with tears in my eyes. And she said, thank you, Mama, for loving me and making a place for me.
Wow.
It's changed her life. Now
Yeah.
she's doing so well, and that's what this is all about.
It is, absolutely. One child at a time.
Yeah, and the thing that you touched on, Doc, that is so important, a lot of people say, well, I don't have an extra bedroom, or I already have a house full of my personal kids. I don't have room. But every person can support a foster family. And I encourage people that are watching, if you go to church or you're involved in a civic organization or a company, what would happen, Doc, what would happen if every company, every civic organization, and every church in Arkansas said, is there a family in this church that would bring in 1 or 2 foster children? If you will do that, this church will come alongside you. We'll support you and encourage you.
Yeah.
We'll help you babysit. We'll bring you meals. Wouldn't that change this crisis?
Yes, it would change the face of everything
Yeah.
if we had that kind of support. And people can do things like if you do just let someone do a background check on you and check your driving record,
Yeah.
then you can do something as simple as helping a foster parent take their kids to a medical treatment appointment or to school, or you can let them stay with you while they go out on a date. And there's all kinds of things that you can do easily just by taking a little bit of your time and effort to help a foster parent.
We have a group at Family Church here in Bryant. We're called the Keenagers. They're over 60. Many of them are over 80. And they'll, on a Sunday after church, they'll just say, hey, let's all have pizza. And they'll just take all the kids that in one particular house. They'll take one house, which may be 6 kids plus the foster parent and their kids, and they'll just all have pizza together. And that's the kind of encouragement we're talking about.
That's wonderful. That's amazing.
And so we got about 3.5 minutes. What do people need to know, and how can they be involved?
Yeah, I appreciate that. You can go to everychildarkansas.org, and we're getting ready to actually launch a volunteer port there where you can go and you can put in your zip code, and you'll find every organization in your zip code that's doing this work, and you can volunteer for them. You can look at your church. You can ask the organizations you're involved in, like who's fostering, and you could just decide, I'm going to help you. How can I help you? Just something like meals. You've already mentioned them. Taking their kids for a ride, watching them overnight so they get a date, a night out, those kind of things. And then you might just ask the Lord about your heart. Is He calling you to be someone that would open their home? We need more homes, and someone that could do that and say, I'll take a child into my home. And in the time of their crisis, I'll take care of them.
Yeah, and in and around the holidays, over the years, we've had businesses that would call and say, how many kids do you have? We want to buy a gift for every child. Now, that was back when we had 30 or 40. We got 80 now, so I don't know. But just buying them a gift.
Yes.
We've got one family that comes to mind that says, I want to know every child that has a birthday. I don't know if they're still actively doing that, but I remember them taking that on back again when we had 28 to 30 children. It was easier, but it's just so many opportunities if people would just think out of the box, pray and ask God what He'd have them to do. Because when the body of Christ does each of their part,
it works.
We can change the world, and that starts with one heart, doesn't it?
Our church, we're approaching Christmas. Our church does a giving tree, and we have a tag on that tree that's got a foster child that's in the church and a gift. You take that tag and you help them for Christmas. So little things like that we can do. So, Doc, I've shared this story many times. I had an 83-year-old lady in Heber Spring used to send me $1 every month. She's gone to be with the Lord now, but she would probably be amazed as I am at what God's doing as a result of her faithful dollar. Yeah.
And so we don't ever really ask for people to give to us. We want them to just connect with us. And connecting with us connects us with you. We got a minute. An individual foster family in our state, can they go online at Every Child Arkansas and find a organization in their area that they might need to connect with?
Yes, you can just go on everychildarkansas.org, put in your zip code, and you'll bring up the organizations, and you're probably involved with them, but maybe not. Maybe there's some other organizations there, like we have multiple ones that will support you, have closets, clothes closets, food closets, things that can help you in your work, so yes.
And we'd love to connect with you. You're watching this show. That means you're doing this on purpose. And we would love to be connected with you. We really never ask for financial support. VTN has been so gracious to allow us to be on VTN and to produce this show and to be a part of solving and being a part of the solution for the foster care crisis in Arkansas. We want you to be involved. One thing we'd like you to do is pray for us and pray for all the organizations like Every Child Arkansas. Visit that website and pray every day for everybody who's making a difference in fostering, mentoring, and adopting. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.